Hello, my name is Jada, and I am 31 years old. I have two kids, and I have had Crohn's disease for going on 22 years now. Um, I was first diagnosed January 1st, 1995. Um, and at that time, I was 9 going on 10. So, one of the things that I'll be talking about in this diary is what life is like with Crohn's disease. And it's definitely not all rainbows and ponies, ever. So, let's see here. Tell us a story about my experience with Crohn's disease. When did you first start experiencing symptoms? I'd say I first started experiencing symptoms that I didn't really know they were symptoms of something larger. Was probably about when I was around 9. I started losing a lot of weight. Didn't want to eat too much. Was really stressed out. My parents were going through a divorce at that time. So I guess me being the youngest one took it really hard. And I guess one of the ways that I felt like coping was not eating, if that makes any sense. Um, but yeah, I stopped eating a lot. I lost like a lot of weight. I started having really painful bowel movements where like it would just hurt really bad, and it got to the point where I was starting to throw up a lot. I just remember like January 1st. I think it was December 31st. I know I had went to dinner with my dad, and like on the way back from the restaurant back to the house, I kind of threw up like all in his car. Like he didn't make it in time to stop the car. So yeah, like everything went all over the windshield shield. And I just remember like that night, it was probably like around 11, 12 a.m. My mom was like, okay, we're going to the hospital. And I'm like, okay, why? Like, I'm fine now, but I guess she was really worried. So we spent all night and half the day going from hospital to hospital. I don't know how many hospitals we went to. They kept transferring us to. I know I went to Wake Med, went to Duke Raleigh, uh, went to Rex, and then from Rex we ended up at UNC Chapel Hill. And it was actually Chapel Hill that figured out, because I guess they were trying to say I had sickle cell anemia, and UNC were the people who figured out it wasn't that. It was Crohn's disease. And of course, we had no clue what that meant. All I knew was that my stomach hurt really bad all the time. Um, so that was pretty much how the symptoms started. But it's crazy because it's like as soon as we figured out like what it was, all hell broke loose. Like it was just bad from then on. Um, so it says, how have things changed, if at all, with your Crohn's disease over time? Over time, one of the things I've always said about Crohn's disease is that it is unpredictable. And that's whether you're taking your medicine or not. As a kid, growing up with Crohn's disease just meant there was a lot of things I could not eat. If we were going shopping, I probably hated shopping the most because I knew that as soon as I got in the dressing room and was trying to change my clothes, my stomach would hurt and I'd have to rush out and go to the bathroom. Like that was probably the one thing I hated doing, was trying to go to the mall, or don't let it be like a really long line and I'm trying to pay and the feeling hits me and I have to sit up here, find a place to put my clothes, hide them so nobody will take them so I can run off to the bathroom. Um, so, I mean, as a kid growing up, like, your stomach just hurt. I mean, it was really hard for me to kind of explain what was really like going on. Couldn't eat like anything with like a lot of tomatoes. Not pizza was just like either it better be the best pizza in the world or I'm going to be killing over in the bathroom for like a good 30 to 45 minutes. Um, I was on a lot of medication, like a lot, and I think I probably annoyed my mother because I wouldn't take all of it. I mean, I just got tired of it. I mean, I would get like a tray of probably 10 different pills, and that was just in the morning. Like, I probably used to take about 20 pills just in the morning alone. That didn't mean at night or in the afternoon. I was in the hospital a lot, like anywhere from like 2 weeks to several months. Like when I was in seventh grade, I spent probably half the seventh grade in the hospital. It's like I disappeared one day and I showed up like at the end of the school year. Let me just tell you, hospital school back then sucked. It wasn't even really school. It was just a bunch of us kids who were in the hospital for a long time doing work packets. And I'm someone who loves school, but hospital school, not fun. Um, so my disease, like as a kid, I don't even know how I would be a kid like nowadays with all the technology, trying to find a bathroom during school to use that nobody's there. Nobody can record you or come in when you're using the bathroom. Like, I would probably be mortified or ask my parents, can I please be homeschooled? Because that was like one of the things I got good at. I got good at finding what bathrooms to go to, which ones not to go through to, at what time, when, and I pretty much made a schedule of when I should go to the bathroom, because I only had like a window of time before somebody was just going to come in. But my stomach hurt a lot. It's, I kind of relate it to like women when we get our periods and you get those really bad period cramps. And it's almost like having your worst period cramp ever all the time. Like all the time. Which is why I really struggled like with my weight as a kid, because if I ate, my stomach hurt. But if I didn't eat, it wouldn't hurt so bad, if that makes any sense. It would still hurt, but it wasn't like, oh my God, my stomach really, really hurts. So, probably it kind of started taking a turn for the worse as I got out of school and I was in the college trying to, figure out what I wanted to do with my life. That's when it got really bad, and I probably was because the stress of adulthood probably was like the final straw. I'd say now it's a lot more manageable. It doesn't give me as many problems. I guess you can say from a my stomach hurt standpoint, because they ended up taking my intestines out anyways, back in '06. So I don't have a lot of those symptoms anymore. It actually manifests a lot different now. It shows its ugly little head, whether from like my eyesight or my teeth or my joints, and especially my skin. That's how it rears its ugly little head during that time. Um, the other conditions I have is Crohn's related arthritis. I have Crohn's related, I guess you can say, skin rashes, issues, whatever you want to call it. Um, I have inflammation of my eyes where if my eyes start to flare up, they get really, really red. Everybody asks me if I have pink eye, and I'm like, no, I have Crohn's disease in my eye. Um, so a lot of things kind of start happening to you. And that's what I had to learn, of that it was autoimmune. So it can pretty much attack any part of my body that it wants to, not just the intestines. And that's one of the big things that people don't understand, is that it's not just a in your stomach, in your gut, disease. It will attack whatever organ it wants to. Um, right now, I just take shots once a month. They're not so bad. Um, right now, for my rashes, and because they're kind of ulcerated, I do like a cream for that. but that's probably the least amount of medication that I've ever been on. And this is from someone who used to have a tube in her chest in the 7th grade, taking her own blood every Monday morning before I went to school. I was drawing my own blood. So my treatments have definitely changed over the years. Like I used to take a lot of medication. When I had as you used to call it a TPN, or what do they call it? Uh, it's a tube in your chest where I can't remember the name of it, but I used to have to get fed through it. Like I wasn't getting enough nutrients from the food that I was eating because technically I wasn't eating. So they would like give me pretty much fat and nutrients through it. But I had it for like a good year or so twice. I can't remember what it is. Um, so yeah, I used to have that stupid thing. And I'd have to get hooked up to it every day. So I haven't had that since 10th grade. I think I had to have it again, either ninth or 10th grade. They put it back in there. They took it out when I was in 8th grade. And then I had to get it put back in 10th grade. And I think that was probably about it. Um, I'd say my treatments help to manage my life now. They kind of go into like a plateau effect. So it doesn't really kind of get better, but it's manageable enough that I can go through my life the way I need to go to. I think when you have Crohn's disease, you have to learn how to adapt. You know, your norm isn't like other people's norm. Like me personally, because I had my ostomy put on in '06. The things that I do for it, on a day-to-day basis, just getting dressed. I have to put, I have it's called like a little, where is it? Like this thing right here that kind of covers it. So, if I'm wearing a nice shirt like this, you don't see a wonderful bag underneath it. So, I mean, just like getting dressed or showering or going out, there's things you have to tweak. Um, and I guess that's with, any, condition that you have to learn you got to live with it, you know. So you kind of just have to make the best of the situation, pretty much. So I've kind of went over my 10-minute time limit, but I guess we can continue on, and this is it for the first video. Thanks for watching.